All right. Good evening, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Thank you all for taking the time out to be here today. Okay, super. So, why are we all here? We're all here to learn something, correct? Learn something new, something interesting, or something that we're passionate about. And that is the essence of Enlightened Sapiens. We are a community that encourages you to grow and learn with the things that you love so that when you're ready, you can give back with this knowledge, making it easier for someone else to do the same. Wouldn't that be a beautiful world, right? Where we use what we know, what our knowledge is, and to give back with that knowledge. And today we have Abhishek Avhad, who wishes to give back with his knowledge on cycling. Hey, Abhishek, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm all good. Are you able to hear me? Am I loud and
Yes,
clear?
absolutely,
That is
absolutely.
lovely.
So Abhishek, I'll introduce him briefly. Abhishek is a chartered accountant by profession, but an endurance athlete by passion, and that's what we're all about, right? What our passions are. And he's an Ironman triathlete, a RAM qualified ultra cyclist. Ultra cycling is these long distance bike rides. He loves coaching people on running, on cycling, on swimming, general fitness, right? So he's a really inspiring person. So today Abhishek is going to take us through the absolute basics of cycling and why cycling is, so since this whole situation, we said, okay, cycling is now opened up. We are able to cycle. So he said, why not have a session on understanding how to cycle and what are the best techniques to cycle? And personally, me, before everything, before lockdown and all of it, I had a simple rule that if it was 3 kilometers from my own home, whether it's raining, whether it's hot, whether it's not, I used to take my bike ride for anything, for groceries, for meetings. It's good for the earth, it's good for yourself. And a lot of people are getting more conscious into cycling. So Abhishek is going to break it down, make it really simple. If you're new to cycling, it'll be great for you. If you already are into cycling, you can ask him questions. He's going to explain a lot of stuff. Of course, many of you have been for our sessions earlier, so you'll know the format. It's all our sessions are interactive. Use the chat box wisely. You can use it to interact and ask questions. Also, the raise hand button in the participants box that we can take questions for and unmute you and take questions for. So yeah, keep the chat box clean to relevant questions. And yeah, let's begin. Abhishek, over to you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Karan. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. It's always a pleasure to talk to so many enthusiastic people. And what Karan has been doing since the lockdown is amazing. One look at his website and I was blown away. So let's get to the point directly. My name is Abhishek Avhad. As Karan said, I am a chartered accountant by profession and an endurance athlete and a mentor by passion. So my journey began back in 2015 when I was in a corporate job. I was doing the usual things which corporate guys do. They work hard on the weekdays and they party hard on the weekends. I did that for about a year and then I got fed up, and I had a colleague who was running at that time, and he used to love running. He took me out for a run. I went for a run. I really fell in love with running. I took up running. And in 2 months, I thought, you know what, I need a new adventure. And what's life without an adventure? And I thought, what is that adventure which I can search? And that is where I came across triathlons. Milind Soman had done the Ironman triathlon back then. He was all over social media. I read his post and I decided, ki chalo, let's register for this. And I did just that. I found the nearest location, the nearest race to my home, which was in Goa. I'm not in Goa, by the way. I'm in Mumbai. It seems very Goa-like, but let me tell you, okay, this is in Mumbai. So I registered for the race. There was only one glitch. The race was in Feb. I registered in November, but I didn't know how to swim. And the swim section happened in the ocean. But as I said, I was young, I was stupid. I said, chalo, why not? So I paid the money, I registered, I got a slot. And then after that, I decided to start swimming. And I did the race. I was able to learn swimming in that 3 to 4 months of time. I went on, I did the Ironman triathlon. I absolutely loved it. But after I finished the Ironman triathlon, I thought, I think I've never done swimming, running, and cycling a lot. I didn't focus on the single sport. So let me go back to my roots. Let me focus on one single sport. That is where I said I moved on to cycling. I focused on cycling. I registered for a race which is called as the Deccan Cliffhanger. It's a 640-kilometer race. It goes all the way from Pune to Goa, through various ghats, to various states. It's amazing, amazing race. I registered for the race. I started training for the race. It was only when I was training for the race, I understood that my love for cycling far more exceeds swimming and running. So I decided to focus on that. I went ahead. I did the race. Can we have some pictures of the race? I did the race. The race was amazing. It was fantastic. And so there are two pictures here. The left one with the flag is me at Ironman in Sweden, which is the finish of the Ironman race. The other race is the start line of the Deccan Cliffhanger. And it was after I did the race. And then a lot of people started asking me, how did you do the race? So I said, let's talk, let's come home, let's talk. We can discuss about training. And that is when I realized that most of them had very little idea of what cycling is all about. Most of them didn't know how to train. So I said, why not? Let me just make whatever I know, let me make it into a comprehensive workshop and just talk to people. And that's how the whole the journey began of quantifying or rather compiling all the knowledge that I have and make it into a nice little one-day cycling workshop. Unfortunately, COVID came in. I did 8 workshops in Mumbai. I was planning to do 4 more all across India. COVID came in, and yes, that left me inside my house. But this is not a very bad place to be in, but I couldn't travel. So through this opportunity, which Karan and his website has given me, I want to thank him again. So let's see what we have today. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay. Can we go just one slide? Okay. So this is what we are going to do today. There are I've divided the webinar into 5 parts. First, let's start with we are going to be starting with why you should cycle. Then once I have convinced you guys to actually go out and cycle, I'll tell you what to buy. What are the things that you need to buy apart from the cycle as well? The cycle is obvious. After you've bought your cycle, you've bought your accessories, we will actually dwell down. We will have before that, we'll have a Q&A round. We'll have 5 to 10 minutes where I will interact with people. If you have any doubts, please put them in the chat box and keep your doubts limited only to the first 2 sections. You see the yellow section, why you should cycle, and what to buy. Those are the 2 things I want you to focus your doubts on in the first Q&A round. Okay. After that, when we get started, okay. Now, after the second Q&A, I'll tell you how exactly to get started on your bicycle. And after that is done, we are going to do, I'm going to tell you what are the riding etiquettes so that you can ride safely on the road. And after that, I'll tell you how you can train on the bike, how you can get fitter, and what are the actual avenues that you want to participate. What are the events which are open to an amateur cyclist like us, and how do we take part in that? Okay, is that clear? And then after that, of course, we have the bigger Q&A where all kinds of questions are open, but keep your question very specific and please ask away. Remember, no question is a stupid question. I've asked stupid questions so many times in all these years. That is how I have learned a lot. People who didn't ask stupid questions maybe didn't learn as much as I did. So it's very clear. Please ask as many questions as possible. And so let's get started. Okay, so the number one thing that the first thing that we are going to talk is basically why you should cycle. Okay, you can do a lot of things. You can do yoga, you can do running, you can go to the gym, but why specifically cycle, Abhishek? Why cycle, Abhishek, where I can run? Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you, there are physical benefits of cycling. Cycling is a very good cardiovascular exercise. By cardiovascular, I mean it really puts a stress on your heart. It exercises your heart, your lungs, and your cardiovascular system in the body, which makes you fit overall. That is the general area of fitness which cycling targets very well. Cyclists are known to have bigger hearts, have lower resting heart rates, have more efficient bodies, because the sport is such that it really improves your cardiovascular system. That is the obvious physical benefit. But then there are a few people who also tell me that, okay, but Abhishek यार ये तो भागने से भी मेरे को वही benefits हो रहे हैं यार, तो मैं साइकिल क्यों करूं? साइकिलिंग में तो मेरे को पैसा भी डालना पड़ रहा है, इसमें तो free है. And I said yes, running is free, but running is hard. Okay, for someone who just wants to start running right now, who's overweight, who's never run before, it's a hard workout. It's a hard workout. If you're obese, it's even harder. Okay, I was overweight for some time, and I found it so hard to actually run. That is where cycling comes in. Cycling is suited for people of any see, here's the thing: you'll enjoy running a lot more if you are actually fit. If you're not fit, you will not enjoy running. You sit back and wondering, okay, why do people just keep on posting about how good they feel about after a run? That's because they're fit enough. It's only when you're fit you start enjoying running. That's not the case with cycling. With cycling, anybody can just pick up a bike and start riding. My entire family rides a bike. They don't do anything else, but they really love to ride a bike. If I take them along for a run, they will not like it at all. But if I take them along for a bike ride, they absolutely love it. Now, that's the physical benefit. Okay, cycling also has a very mental side to it. When you cycle out on the roads, that is your me time. There is no cell phone around. There's no calls around. Nobody's calling you. Nobody's disturbing you. You're all out there. So that is that. It's a form of meditation for me, and it has a very big mental aspect. The other aspect is the social aspect. People, the cyclists are a very special group of people. If you ride on the road, if someone is in Mumbai, if this happens in the other metros as well, if you're in Mumbai and if you're cycling and there's another rider cycling from the other side of the road, he will give you a salute. He will wave his hand to you. It doesn't happen in any other sport. Anybody who's cycled in Mumbai and who's experienced this, please type yes, that happens on the chat box. That is why cycling is amazing. The kind of people you'll meet in cycling is just great. Okay, now let me talk a little bit about environmental. I wouldn't go delve deep into it because everybody knows cycling is good for the environment. Every time, like Karan said, every time you ditch the auto, you take a bike to go buy your groceries. You're not just saving money. Of course, you're saving money, but you're reducing your carbon footprint to that extent. So, okay. So now let's say you've heard me and now you want to cycle, or some of you are already determined that okay, हमको तो cycle चलाना है. Abhishek यहाँ आके कुछ भी बोले, we are going to cycle. Please tell us how to start. So the second thing that I want to talk about is basically what to buy. Now, if you want to cycle, if you want to get into cycling, you need a cycle. Okay, anybody who tells you otherwise is lying. Okay, you need a cycle. So what are the types of bicycles? Okay, a lot of people then ask me, okay, kaun sa cycle lu? Just hold on. Yeah. So a lot of people ask me, okay, what is the bike? यार कौन सा bike लूँ यार? इधर मैं bike store में जाता हूँ तो ऐसा 10-20 bike दिखाता है. कुछ तो साइंस में माउंटेन हिल विल कुछ तो बोलता है, हाइब्रिड रोड कोड कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है. सिर्फ ये इतना समझ में आता है कि बॉस ये बहुत महंगा है. So let's talk about the cycle. So the first thing that we are going to talk about is cycle. Now, if you can read, there are types of bicycles. There are 3 types of bicycles. There is the MTB, which is a mountain bike. There is a road bike and a hybrid bike. Now, a mountain bike is a bike which is supposed to be ridden on unpaved roads, on trails, on what you call as kacha rasta. If you guys are wondering what unpaved roads are, wait for 2 months. Wait for the monsoon to get over, and you'll have unpaved roads. You'll have kacha rastas everywhere in the city. Okay, so if MTBs are meant to be ridden in these horrible roads, in these trails. Now, a complete opposite of that are the road bikes. Okay, I think let's move on to the next picture. Yes. Okay, so that is your MTB. Okay, so there are three things that you need to, once you see them, you'll understand, okay, that's an MTB. The first thing is a flat handlebar. You see the handlebar? It's a flat handlebar. All MTBs will have a flat handlebar because that's much easier to control. Okay, then there is something called, as you see the red circle there, okay, that's called the front suspension. Okay, so it's meant to be ridden in a road, in an unpaved road, on a trail. So whenever you hit a ditch, that suspension actually helps you to, so that all the stress that your upper body will go through, it absorbs all the shocks. These are the shock absorbers. If your bike has a shock absorber, it's a mountain bike. It's meant to be ridden off-road. And of course, the third thing that we need to look at is the tires. The tires are a bit wider here. Okay, so that's an MTB. You see a front suspension, immediately you should be able to identify the bike. It's an MTB. Let's go one more slide. One more. No, okay. Oh, sorry. Go to the road bike. Sorry. Okay, now comes the road bike. These are the bikes which are expensive and they are meant to be ridden on road. And a lot of people tell me, like, if you're from Mumbai, I get this a lot. People ask me, okay, is this bike good for Mumbai roads? Yes, it is absolutely good. I have my bike here. I ride a road bike. Let me show you. This one. This is my road bike. I ride it in Mumbai. I've ridden more than 20,000 kilometers on this. It absolutely works. Now, how do you know it's a road bike? Look at the handlebar. Okay, those handlebars which come with a tilt or with a rounded thing or which have a drop, they're called the drop handlebars. They help you to hold the bike in a lot of different areas. Okay, so all your road bikes will have the drop handlebars. Now they won't have suspension because you're going to be riding them on paved roads. And the tires are going to be very slim on these. Okay, now these two bikes are extreme of each other. There is a road bike which is meant to be ridden on amazing paved roads. There is a mountain bike which is supposed to be, we are going to be riding a mountain bike only on trails. But there is a midway point, and that bike is called the hybrid bike. Now, if you see, hybrid bike has some elements from the road bike and some elements from the mountain bike. Okay, so for example, the flat handlebar, it gets its flat handlebar from its mountain bike cousin, correct? It gets its no suspension from its road bike cousin, and the tire is medium. It's not going to be very thin. It's not going to be very thick. Okay, so now the question is, okay, Abhishek, how do I buy? What should I buy? Now, if this is your first bike and if you're living in the city, you're going to be riding in and around your house, get a hybrid bike. A hybrid bike just works fine. It's more comfortable. It's more versatile. It's cheap. Make sure you get a hybrid bike. Okay, this is the first question I get. Now, if you, let's say, if you know that, okay, I'm going to ride longer distances, I want to do longer distances, I want to do these local events, one fine day I want to be a cycle racer. If that is you, go for a road bike. Okay, Decathlon is an amazing place to start with because they have a wide variety of bikes, and they don't really they don't have a commission per se. So the salesperson is not really behind you to sell the things. Like the local bike shop, if you trust the local bike guy, nothing like it. But if you don't, Decathlon is a good place to start. Now your question is, Abhishek, okay, I want to buy a hybrid bike. Can you help me select a hybrid bike? What is the first thing that I should do, or what should I know about a bike? And this is the first thing that you should know about the bike. Now, the bike, or when I say bike, I mean a cycle. Now, a motorcycle comes in one uniform size. Okay, if you want to buy a Royal Enfield 500cc, there's going to be one size in that. So it doesn't matter if you're 5'2" or if you're 6'4", it doesn't matter. You're going to get the same product. But that's not the case when it comes to a bicycle. Okay, a bicycle comes in a lot of different sizes. Now, how do you know what size is the right size? It's very simple. Just take the bike. You see the picture here. Keep the bike in between your legs and just stand on top of the bike. Okay. Your groin shouldn't touch the bike. If your groin is touching your bike, the bike is too small for you. Okay. And because the possibility that you ending up a bigger size bike is very high. If you're a female, 110%, you will always encounter a bike which is bigger than you. If you're a male, if you're under 5'6", then this is something you need to be careful of. Okay, so this is the first thing that you should know when you are out there to buy a frame size. Just stand on top of the bike, check if you are able to stand comfortably. If you're not able to stand comfortably, that bike is a bigger bike. Okay, can we go to the next section, or the first slide where, the first slide. First green slide with the text. One more. Okay, so let's say now you get the bike as well. Now, what are the accessories that you need to buy? The first accessory is a helmet. Now, when you buy a helmet, make sure you buy a helmet which is a cycling helmet. Don't buy a construction helmet. You wouldn't buy a motorcycle helmet, okay? But don't buy a construction helmet. Buy a helmet. Make sure the helmet that you buy is light, and spend at least 2,000 to 3,000 rupees on a helmet, because that's how expensive, or that's how the good helmets are priced. Okay, and ensure you get a helmet which is bright. Don't buy a black helmet, okay? Because you won't be seen on the road. I'll come to that later. Now, how do you know the helmet is your size? Helmets also come in different sizes. That's why don't buy them online. If you're buying cycling accessories first time, or if you're buying a bike first time, don't buy it online. You won't have a good experience. Now, this is the helmet. I'll show you how to wear this, okay? Now, if the helmet should go very easily, it should go on top of your head. If it doesn't fit, it's too small for you, okay? And notice how there is a small little circle here. This actually helps you to tighten the helmet and loosen it, okay? Okay, I put the helmet on. This, you see, it's shaking. That means I haven't tightened it enough. So let me tighten it. Let me tighten it up. Okay, let me put the chin strap. Okay. Now, once you put the chin strap, make sure that the strap is tight enough. Okay. Now I've worn the helmet. The helmet doesn't move beyond this. I tighten it up a little. It doesn't move beyond this. And the other indicator that you should do is take two fingers and put it over here. Okay. Don't wear the helmet almost under your forehead. Okay. Don't wear it this way. It's not going to work. Don't wear it too up. Wear it 2 fingers beyond over your forehead. And make sure that the strap is tight enough. The strap is tight so that you're not able to open your jaw more than is required. That's about it. If you're able to have, if the chin strap is just tying around, the moment you fall down, the helmet is going to go somewhere else. Okay. So that's the first thing that you need to get. So a lot of people ask me, okay, Are helmets compulsory? No, they're not compulsory. The police is not going to catch you if you don't wear a helmet. But think about it. Indian roads are horrible. Indian traffic is horrible. Indian motorists don't like you. So it's better. And most of us are not very good when it comes to a bike control. So make sure you wear a helmet because it's for you. It's not for someone else. It's not that heavy. It just works. Now that's the first accessory that you need to buy. The second accessory I would recommend is a cycling light, a light which is behind your cycle. This makes you much more visible to the cyclist, to the riders or to the motorists, to the BST guy behind you. Make sure you buy this, okay? This is a very important kit. So we've talked about the helmet, we've talked about the light. Now let's talk about what do you wear while cycling, okay? If you're just starting out, anything is fine as long as it's bright, okay? It should be bright enough. I have a thumb rule when it comes to your cycling clothing. Look like Robin on the road. Don't look like Batman. Don't be Batman on the road, okay? Be Robin on the road. Be visible on the road. Don't dress like Amitabh Bachchan in Sarkar. Dress like Govinda in any of the movies he is in. Okay, so that's your aim. I'll show you 2 cycling jerseys. Okay, these are the 2 jerseys that I have. Tell me which one will keep me much more safer. Is this one? You think this one is good enough, or this one? If I wear this, the driver has a good proof in the court of law that I was not visible. Okay, so don't buy a cycling jersey, or don't wear darker clothes. Wear light clothes. Wear clothes which make you visible. Now, what are the clothes? Wear any clothes. Cotton is fine if you're just cycling around here, but as and when you start cycling, let's say 1 hour or 2 hours, make sure you invest in a cycling jersey. Now, what is the difference between a cycling jersey and a normal jersey? Okay, the first difference is a cycling jersey is compact, is tight, so when you're riding, it doesn't flash, or it doesn't wave, it doesn't catch air. It's very comfortable. The second difference, the second benefit of a cycling jersey is that it makes you look slim. Okay, so I'm not really as slim. I've put on a lot of lockdown weight, but it doesn't show because I'm wearing a cycling jersey. So wear a cycling jersey. And the most obvious benefit of a cycling jersey is the back pockets. So all these cycling jerseys have these nice little back pockets behind them, 5, 6, 7 of them. The deeper, the better. And you can fit all kinds of things. Okay, you don't believe me? At this moment, I'll tell you what are the things that I have in my back pocket. I have a bottle. I have my wallet. I have a banana. And I have Snickers. Think about this. I have everything that I need for a 2-hour ride, for a 1.5 hour ride, right here in my back pocket. Even my cell phone is in my back pocket. I don't need anything else. The cycling jersey comes very, very, very handy. So make sure you invest in one. It's not an expensive purchase. You get cycling jerseys for as cheap as $1,000, even cheaper than that. Decathlon again has amazing cycling collection. Okay, so moving on. There's one more piece of item. Where is it? Yes. Now, what should you wear while you're cycling? Down below your jersey. So ideally, I don't recommend people wearing running shorts for cycling because it's a different activity. There are cycling specific shorts. Now, this is a cycling specific shorts. It has a padding inside. If you see this, that is a padding inside, and you need to wear this as it is. Okay, wear this, I don't know, without your undies. Wear this commando, because this is the thing which gives you support. This is the thing which gives you comfortable, which makes you comfortable. If you don't wear this, instead you prefer to wear a running if you prefer to wear running shorts or any other shorts, what happens is your legs are moving. Your legs are moving, the material is moving, and the seat is right there. So your legs and the seat and everything, they just start to rub each other and they cause abrasions. And then one fine day, you cycle. How many of you have experienced this? I'm sure a lot of you have. The first cycle ride you do 1 hour ride, and then you feel as if your bum is going to explode. That's because your skin is constantly rubbing against your shorts and your seat. So to avoid that, these cycling shorts are great. Okay. Now let's move on to shoes. What are the kind of shoes that you want to wear? Okay. So I would say there are a specific set of cycling shoes. I won't go there. That's a very big topic. I have done a YouTube video on that. You can check that out later. But any shoes which have a very stiff sole. Now I have my walking shoes here. You look at this. Look at the flex. Look at the flex in this one. This is a shoe I will not recommend cycling. The reason is that when you pedal, you want your feet to be flat. You want all the pressure to be absorbed by the sole and not by your feet. Your feet are not very strong. So get shoes which have a stiff sole, and please wear socks. And again, make sure that you're wearing lighter socks, because your legs are going to be moving. And if you're wearing something light, you're much, much, much more visible. Okay, so can we have the first round of questions?
So if you have any questions, use the raise hand button. Abhishek, I'm going to ask you some questions which people have asked us throughout the chat box.
Wait. Vishal Khatri asks, is gel cover useless? I said, absolutely. Gel covers are the worst thing that have been ever invented. They don't really help you. Your saddle has to be as stiff as possible. All the cushioning should come from your cycle short, correct? So there's a phrase in life which say, don't pray for an easier life, pray for the strength to endure a hard one. It's exactly like that. Don't pray for a soft seat, okay? Pray for a good quality bib short. Let the seat be as stiff as possible. My seat is super stiff. I've done 32 hours of cycling on it. Absolutely nothing happens. Okay.
So Abhishek, there's a question since we're on the topic of shorts by Aparna. Are the cycling shorts unisex?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they're unisex.
Okay, fine.
The jerseys, however, are not. You get female-specific jerseys. You get male-specific jerseys. As far as I know, yes, the cycling jerseys are they're unisex.
Okay, fine. Abhishek, you can unmute yourself. You have a question. Abhishek Rota.
Okay, the other Abhishek. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, the other Abhishek.
Yeah,
Abhishek
I was always. If I was on mute, if I was on mute the entire 30 minutes, I will just jump off from right now. It's.
Go ahead, Abhishek
Okay.
Rota. Abhishek Rota. Hey.
Hello, good evening all, and it's such a wonderful session. So my question is just before hitting the road, what all conditioning is required? Because basically not everyone is, born with it. Not everyone is a cyclist, and also a lot
Correct.
of us are beginners for sure.
Yes.
So just want to know about the conditioning and all the measures that can be taken to improve our performance as a rider. Thank you.
Correct. That part is coming up, but let me just answer that question very briefly. If you have legs, you can cycle. That's it. Rest all, everything can be worked upon.
Okay, super. Deepika Haritwal, you can unmute yourself. You can ask any question that you have. Deepika Haritwal.
Yeah, hi. This is Abhishek, her husband.
Okay, hey.
I've been trying to bicycle with my 13-year-old son, and we
Correct.
managed to do about 15-20 kilometers at a stretch. And we have the exactly same bikes from between at Decathlon, the ones that you showed in the demonstration. But we end up having very sore groin and very numb back. And each time I have to
Okay.
take my bike back to Decathlon to ask them for a better and a bigger seat. I'm almost 86 kilos, and I thought
Correct.
the bike is pushing me down or something like that.
No, I am 88 right now. I'm 89 right now. When I did the race where I was on the bike for, so I was heavier than that. It's not related to weight. It's more to do with bike fit. What is bike fit? We will get back to that. But it's a bike fit issue. You
Okay,
know,
but
buying
anything
your
specific on the
yeah.
seats?
See, what happens is there are what Decathlon sells is a specific type of seat,
Yeah.
but seats are a much more individualized thing, because what happens is you're actually, when you're sitting on the bike, you're not sitting on your butts, you're sitting on the thigh bones, okay? Or yeah, you're sitting on thigh bones. So the distance between the thigh bones are different, and you wouldn't believe women have wider hips because they have wider thigh bones, and that's why they need wider saddles. Men, on the other hand, are much narrower. So what happens is generally it's happening because the seat is much broader, and when it's much broader, when you're pedaling, your groin is how do I say, your groin is rubbing against the seat much more than it should be. So
Okay.
that's one of the reasons. You can try changing the saddle, but you need a good bike fitter for that. Decathlon may not be the best first.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Okay, let's take one more quick question before we move ahead. We will have our opportunity for more questions. Mayank, Jen, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, thank you for this wonderful session. I have two questions. One is, what are the exercises needed to be done before and after cycling? And my second question is, me and some of my friends are cycling almost 30 kilometers a day, and we stretch to do 60 on weekends. So we are going at max up to 60 kilometers. So my question is that how
Correct.
can we stretch it more further, like till 100?
Correct. We are getting to that in the next part of the question. Rahul Singh is asking how to set the seat height to avoid back pain. Yes, that's the next part. And let me just run through it. Is there any specific quality or price range of a big whip shorts? I'll tell you, somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000 are the entry level, and they're good enough. Okay. Hello, Abhishek. I am above 6 feet. Oh, wow. I am above 6 feet as well. And I weigh 100 kilos. Which type of bike should I buy? Some tell me to buy MTB since I'm heavy. I say hybrid. MTB, generally, people who ride MTBs on the road don't utilize MTB the way they should be. Riding an MTB on the road is like riding a tractor on the road. You know, it's not meant for the road. It's meant for the field. Apologies, I joined late. Could you share pre and post warm up? Oh, I haven't got there, Vivek. And okay, I think we've covered quite a lot. So
Yeah.
can we move ahead? Is that
Yes,
fine?
of course. Absolutely.
Okay. So now you've bought a bicycle, correct? And now you want to get started. Now think about this. Buying a bicycle is like buying a ready-made t-shirt or a ready-made shirt from a shop. You have to be careful that you buy the best size which they have. Now, once you have the shirt, you take it to the tailor. The tailor takes your measurements and he tries to tailor the shirt ahead so that it fits you. And this is the same thing that we need to do when it comes to the bike. Okay. Now the bike, there's a procedure called as the bike fit, and we do the bike fit. Generally, it's a big industry in itself outside India. Here, people are still trying to get their hands into it. So let's start with adjusting. What are the adjustments that you should make to your bike? First of all, what is the correct seat height? I see a lot of people. This is the first thing when I go on the road, when I see people cycling. This is the first thing that I notice, which is absolutely wrong when it comes to people. All of them ride with their saddle heights very low. They should ideally be a much more. Now, how do you set your saddle height right? Let's have the next slide. Do we have the next slide? Yes. So what you need to do is, you want to sit on your saddle. and extend your knee or extend your leg, keep your knee straight and touch your heel to the pedal. Okay, if you are able to touch your heel, if you're not able to extend your heel fully, if you're touching the pedal even before the leg is extended, that means the saddle height is too low. Okay, you need to increase it. This is the biggest question that I get. And then a lot of people tell me that, you know what, Abhishek, मैंने ऐसा ही किया. I did the same thing, I did the same thing. I sat on the bike and now when I ride, my legs don't touch the ground. Okay, this is a very common query that I get, to which I want to say, no, your legs are not supposed to touch the ground when you're cycling. You're going to be pedaling. In order to touch your legs, you need to tilt the bike slightly. Okay, now what happens is, if your seat height is too low, you'll get a lot of knee pain, because now your knees are not extending as much as they should. Okay, so a lot of people then ask me, okay, but then if my knee is completely straight, isn't that overstretching the knee? Like, yes, but you don't pedal from your heel. Okay, you pedal from the widest part of your foot. So this is the next point which I want to come up with. So I see a lot of people, when they pedal from the middle part of the foot. No, if this is the pedal and this is the ball of the foot, you see, when you just now do one thing, look at your foot, look at your feet. You notice your feet have these 5 different bones. They are called the metatarsal bones. Okay, they're the 5 bones, and your feet is wide just under your thumbs. Okay, that portion is called the ball of the foot. Okay, that is the portion which should be right in the center of the pedal. That is where your foot is the strongest. Okay, so if you set your seat height as per the heel method, and you start pedaling from the ball of the foot, by the time your foot reaches down, it's at a very nice angle where your knee is relaxed. So try this out. If you've got, this is the first thing that you want to do. Okay, once you've got this thing corrected, everything else will fall into place. Okay, can we go to the original slide? One more. Okay, so this is the basic adjustment I want you guys to do. Make sure that your seat height is right. Everything else can be worked around. Okay, so now what are the arrangements that you want to do the day before? Okay, so cycling is very different than running. Okay, in terms of preparation. When it comes to running, the next day you can just walk out of your door, start running, and then come back. But when it comes to cycling, unfortunately, we have a very limited window where the roads are empty, the roads are safe, and that happens to be in the morning. So all your arrangements, for example, the seat height has to be set in once and for all. Once you set the seat height, then everything else you need to do that once. Okay, after that, you need to ensure that everything else is in the picture. Your bottles are filled for the morning, your lights are charged up, you have battery in your cell phone, you have food for the ride, you have everything. And this helps because once you get up in the morning, within 15 minutes you're out on the road. Okay, now let's talk about what to eat and drink before a ride. Now ideally, you want to be hydrated even before you start cycling. Okay, so let's say I'm going to start cycling at 6 in the morning. Ideally, I should get up at 5 in the morning. I should have at least two glasses of water. After water, maybe some coffee if you like coffee, nothing like it. And after that, make sure you eat some quantity of carbohydrates. So either you can have oats, you can have cornflakes, you can have roti, sabji, you can have dal khichdi. Dal khichdi is my favorite. You can have bananas, but make sure you have it around 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes before you actually start pedaling, because that gives your body enough time to digest whatever you've had. Okay. Now you had your breakfast, you off for a ride, you waited 30 minutes, of course. Now you're off for the ride. Now during the ride, ideally, you should have, for every 1 hour that you ride, okay, if you're riding for 1 hour, keep a target of at least 1 liter of water. So you need to consume 1 liter of water or 1 liter of fluids for every hour that you ride. If you're riding any harder than this, you need to drink more water. If it's more hot, drink more water. Okay. And the thing with dehydration is, once you start feeling thirsty, once you feel that dryness in your throat, it's already too late. Even if you drink water now, it's not going to help you as much. So avoid dehydration as much as you can. And just water, if you're riding for an hour, maybe just water will do. If you're riding for 2 hours, 3 hours, if you're riding more harder, maybe carry a small banana. Maybe you can carry Snickers with you. You can carry anything which is easy to consume. Try to avoid protein here, because protein is much harder to digest. And once you are after the ride, ensure that you have water, you replenish yourself. Make sure you have electrolytes. Electrolytes are basically salts. You can have them definitely have them during the ride, have them after the ride as well. And your post meal, like you have this nice 1.5 hour window where your body has just finished the workout and now it's very hungry for nutrition. So that is the time. It's a good time to eat some protein. Eggs are good. Protein shake is good. Any other natural source is also great. Okay. So can we move on to the next part? Next slide. Yes. So let's start with how to ride correctly. Okay, there's a correct way of riding and there's a safe way of riding. Now, where should you ride? A lot of people ask me, okay, should I ride with the traffic or should I ride away from the traffic? I would say a general rule of thumb is, if you're running on the road, run against the traffic. Okay, but if you're cycling, cycle with the traffic. Okay, don't do this. Don't ride on the opposite side of the road. The motorists don't like us. Okay, they really don't like us. Don't make them hate us. You know, they have a genuine dislike for us. Don't push it. So ideally, you should be riding with the traffic, and you should be riding as much as left as you can. Okay, don't ride in the middle of the road. Don't ride at the right side of the road, because that is where your cyclists, that is where the motorists are overtaking. That is where they have no patience. They're riding fast. Okay, so keep to your left. Always keep to your left, even on a service road, wherever it is. And now, how do we ride safely? The first thing, the first fundamental thing that you need to understand about safety is that you need to be seen. If you're wearing something bright, you will be seen. If you have a tail light behind, you will be seen. If you have a headlight ahead, nothing like it. Okay, so be as visible as you can be. Let's say if you have a dark colored t-shirt on one fine day, you can also invest in a reflective vest. It's very cheap and it does the trick. So the first rule is to stay visible. If you're visible, that gives, and see, visibility, you should be visible from 100 meters, at least from 100 meters away. It's no use if you're visible 10 meters or just in the headlights, because by that time, it's too late for the driver to react. So 100-meter visibility is definitely recommended. That is one thing. And the other thing, other very essential skill that you need to develop to ride safely is being able to ride with just one hand on the handlebar. So if I'm riding on the road, I should be able to ride with one hand on the handlebar. Now, how is that relevant to safety? If you're able to ride with one hand on the handlebar and you are very confident, with your right hand you can do everything else. In the right hand, you can signal to the traffic, you can slow vehicles down, you can give them hand signals, you can do whatever. But if you're not confident with, if you're very shaky on the bike, you'll never have time or never have the confidence to, show them a hand sign. So this is something which is very dangerous. And I see this from my trainees as well. They get very, very, very shaky. So that is one thing to avoid. The other thing is develop a habit of being very vigilant on the road. So if I'm cycling on the road, okay, my focus should be everywhere around. Of course, I should be looking ahead, but at the same time, I should be looking behind, Now this simple thing, let's say if I'm riding here, all I need to do is turn back and look at the road back. This is a very essential skill. The more vigilant you are, the more reactive time you get. And I've noticed something that women are generally so much more vigilant on the road because they're so used to being vigilant. Like they're always, whenever if you see a woman walking on the road, she'll look back. If there's a noise, she'll look back. She's very cautious, and that's how you all should ride on the road, because you want to be uh, safe. Okay. So these are the two things: be visible and be aware. And some of the things that you should definitely avoid is, I see people with a very annoying habit. I see people wearing headphones and when they're cycling on the road. That is just inviting trouble. Okay. Any car which tries to go past will honk, and if you're wearing a headphone, you'll definitely not hear that. And cycling is about meditation. It's about being with yourself. If you want to listen to music, maybe just go to the gym, get on the stationary bike and listen to whatever music you want. But on the road, don't do it. It's just reckless. It's reckless. It's not helping us. Okay. Can I have the next slide? Karan, are you there?
Hi, this is Nicole, also part of Enlightened Sapiens. Karan is at the moment a little unavailable. I think some technical issues. Give me 2 seconds. I'll just share this slide. Just give me a minute.
Okay. If not, we can take some questions. Let me see. Mayank Raj has asked, which is the best cost-effective cycle for the city? Any hybrid bike is good. I don't ride hybrid bikes a lot, so I don't really know a lot about them. I don't know about the brands, but hybrid bikes definitely worth it. Go for a gear bike. Oh, this is something I think I missed out. There are geared bikes and there are non-geared bikes. If you're cycling at this age, I would definitely recommend get a geared bicycle. The gears will help you actually adjust how hard you need to pedal. So if you're riding on a flat road, it doesn't really matter. But the moment you hit a flyover, you hit a ghat, you hit any incline, you will need those gears, to be able to ride smoothly. Okay, that is one question. Do you recommend, Arvind Ajit Kumar is asking, do you recommend cycling goggles? Yes, I do. What happens is generally, if you're cycling in the day, there's too much sun and you want to keep your eyes open, so a dark shaded goggles is good. If you're cycling in the evening or in the early morning when there's no visibility, a bright shaded one works well. But any which ways, make sure that you're wearing goggles, because the other part is that when you're riding on the road, there's a lot of dust. Indian roads are very dusty, and the dust sometimes can blow in your eyes and make you uncomfortable. So yes, definitely recommend goggles. Okay. How to avoid sore ass when you do long rides? Santosh, once you get your seat right, once you wear the right clothing, that rash can be avoided. Okay. Suroki Dev says ideal bike for a beginner 5'1". Unfortunately, Surobhi, if you're still listening, I have trainees who are short, and they find it very difficult to get bikes because the bike market in India is like the education system in India. It caters to the broad people in the middle of the bell curve. So if you're somewhere between 5'5" to 5'10", you have a lot of variety of bikes. If you're any shorter, you have a problem. I have a very big problem. I am 6'4", so finding a bike is a nightmare for me. Okay, any more questions? Let me see.
Hi Abhishek, is this the right slide you want open right now?
Can I have the previous? Yeah. This is the right slide. Correct.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Am I audible? But
yes, you are.
okay, perfect. So let me just start with this. Okay. Now, let's say you got the bike. You know what etiquettes are. You've been riding for a month or so. Now you want to get fitter on the bike. Now, what is the secret? Is cycling good for knees? Manali Shah has asked. Yes, it's very good for knees. You will find doctors recommending cycling, physiotherapists recommending cycling for rehab. It's really good. Okay. So, okay, how to be fitter on the bike? Now, to get fitter on the bike is more of a function of time. So getting fitter on a bike is a slow and steady process, and you need to ride more, you need to ride longer, you need to be very consistent if you want to be fitter on the bike. Now, the first thing that you need to know when you're trying to increase your fitness on the bike is basically you need to set goals. Okay, set goals which are measurable, which are very specific. So one good goal for an amateur person would be to be able to ride whatever distance he's riding right now. He should be able to ride double the distance with the same level of fatigue. So let's say if I can ride 50 kilometers and I'm totally exhausted after that, my next aim would be to ride 50 kilometers when I'm not at all exhausted, where I'm feeling fresh. Okay, that is a good aim to have. Now, since we are falling short of time, there is a lot of training which goes into making someone much fitter. But we can connect with people who are interested after the webinar. But I'll give you one hint. If you're a beginner and if you're cycling, make sure that you breathe. Make sure you don't go hard. Okay. And the most easiest way of controlling your intensity, of preventing yourself from going hard, is by breathing through your nose. Because what happens is, let's say you're cycling and then your friend decides to overtake you and then you start overtaking him. When you pedal harder and you pedal faster, you need more oxygen, because now your body needs more oxygen, your effort level goes up, and naturally you need to breathe from your mouth. So how do you control that? The most simple way is to breathe from your nose. Once you start breathing from your nose, the amount of oxygen that your body gets limited, and naturally your effort level slows down. So this is something I tell my trainees as well. If you want to ride 100 kilometers comfortably, make sure you just breathe by your nose. Because when you breathe by your nose, your effort level naturally does not go beyond a specific limit. So if you want to ride faster and longer, the first thing I would recommend is you start breathing through your nose itself. This will enable you to not exhaust yourself. Okay, it's very counterintuitive, but actually riding slower for a long time will make you faster in the long run. Even when I train, I don't ride my bike fast. You'll never find me riding my bike very hard. I do a lot of training where I'm just pedaling at a constant pace and I'm not getting tired, because that's how body works. Now, let's say, okay, now moving to the last part of the webinar. Now, a lot of you all have, let's say you got into cycling, now you're doing 100 kilometers, you're doing 150 kilometers, and you are having a good time. Now you want to take it up a notch. Okay, you want to take it up, you want to take your cycling to the next level. Now, how do you do that? So there are, like, for example, in running, we have a lot of 10K runs, we have 21K runs, we we have the full marathons, we have ultra runs. There is something similar which happens in the cycling world as well. There are these rides which are called as BRM. It's a French word. These are basically unsupported rides of 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers, 400 kilometers, and so on. Now, if you go to Audax India, I'll just type it out in the chat box. This is the organization, Audax. Just hold on. Audax India. So if you go to the Audax India page, you'll find a lot of these races. And it's not a race, basically it's a ride. And these rides are very good for you to meet other people in the community, to meet experienced cyclists. So cyclists, and it's a nice community thing. So you'll have these 100 people registered for a 200 kilometer ride. It's a good experience. Okay, so that is one avenue. The other avenue is if you're more fitter, if you want something more challenging, then there are these long distance ultra cycling races, something called as the Deccan Cliffhanger. These races are a bit harder. Okay, so these races are a bit harder than your BRM ride, because these are actual races where you have a crew which rides behind you. They are in the car. They will help you with everything. All you have to do is pedal. And these are long distance races. For example, the race which I did, which is my favorite race, is 640 kilometers. It starts in Pune, it ends in Goa, and all the time there is a car behind me supporting me. And yes, so these are the events there. There's one more event which is called as road racing. That is something which is suitable for the youngsters out there who are very fit and who want to do something in cycling. So road racing is what you see on the road. Tour de France is the multi-stage variant of it. Then you have state championships. But all of that is essentially, if you ask me, that avenue is closed for recreational cyclists who are starting to cycle in their late 20s and early 30s and early 40s. So that's why I don't talk a lot about them. So that is about me. If you love this webinar, you can definitely visit my YouTube channel, which I started as a lockdown project. And let me put the link here. It's called Triathlon Made Easy. Okay, I'm just hold on. Okay, how do I send the chat to everybody? Okay, everyone in the meeting. Made Easy, my YouTube channel. Okay.
Super.
So we can have the second round of questions if we still have time, maybe 10 minutes. Is that fine, Rahul? Sorry, Karan.
Yeah, let's just have a few quick questions. I have saved some questions which people had asked. Sorry, I went out in the middle. My net gave me some issues, but yeah, we're back, and Nicole handled that beautifully. Okay, couple people asked the same question, Abhishek, by Krishnan, Narayan, and MK. Is that when they ride for a long time, their hands go numb, so they got to sort of shake off their hands and take off the bar to get the sensation back. So is it because of the seating posture? How do you solve that?
See, I'll tell you, it's a more complex issue. Anybody who's in the physio, is there any physio on the group? If there is, they will understand. There's a nerve here. It's called the ulnar nerve. That gets compressed. Now that gets compressed. It's because your handlebar setting is a bit weird. If that happens, the nerve gets compressed more than it should be, and that's why your hands become red. The most instant remedy is to just move your hand away from the handlebar, keep it in the air, shake it a little so that blood flow can start again. That's a very good remedy to it. The best way to get rid of it actually is a bike fit, is a good bike fit.
Okay, great. Let's get a question from Rahul Singh. Rahul Singh, you have a question, you can ask it quickly. You can unmute yourself. Rahul Singh, Kashish Kataria.
Oh, I get this question a lot. Is cycling gloves essential? Well, I don't like them. I don't use them. I've ridden 32 hours without cycling gloves. Absolutely no problems at all.
Right.
But
Yeah. Even Arvind had the same question about gloves and goggles.
goggles, I would recommend yes, because you want your eyes to be open and free from dust. Gloves, I don't recommend if you're into hardcore MTB riding where you're going to be moving the handles a lot and you're going to be jumping from the bike. Maybe that time. Otherwise, on the road bike, I don't prefer.
Okay. Kashish Kataria, you can unmute yourself and ask a question if you have one.
Hey, since the pandemic is going on, should we ride with the mask on or without the mask?
Oh yes, very good question. This is the question I was looking for all the while. What I recommend is at least keep your nose out of the mask. Because cycling is a very aerobic activity. Your body is consuming a lot of oxygen. And when the body doesn't get the oxygen it demands, when you wear a tight mask all over your head, your brain starts developing a condition called as hypoxia. Hypoxia is when your brain doesn't get enough oxygen and the brain shuts down. Okay, it shuts down some of the functions and that makes you unconscious and it's very risky. So if you're riding on the road, even if you're wearing a mask, keep your mask handy somewhere. Okay, don't keep it at home and then, it's just not, I don't know if it's unsafe, but definitely people don't like it nowadays. So make sure that you cover your mouth at least, but keep your nose open.
Okay.
Is that good enough, Kashish?
Kashish, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, let's take one question from Anil Thete. Anil, you can unmute yourself. Okay.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi,
Anil.
Abhishek. I want to switch over
Yes.
from helmet to road bike. You
Correct.
suggest me some bikes which are useful for me. I'm 5'4".
5'4". So I'll tell you, your first and foremost priority would be to get your frame size right. Because you're shorter than the average person, you'll end up buying a bigger bike.
Yes.
So any road frame which fits you is good enough. So look for a size of 49 centimeters or even lower. Polygon is a good brand. A few of my trainees are riding that brand. It's amazing. So Polygon's S2. That's what the bike is called. Polygon Stratos S2.
Okay.
Okay. I have one more question.
Go for it.
This is regarding the actual long ride before and after exercises. Are there any?
Oh, you were saying, okay, exercises before and after. Yes, this is something which I may have missed. I would say a simple stretching before the ride works well, and a much more detailed stretching. The same stretches which you do when you're running. So a simple stretch, a simple rotation of the wrist, a simple rotation of your neck, left, right, sideways. These are good to do before, and after the ride, make sure you do your normal hamstring and your quads and your calf stretches a little more. So yeah, basic stretches work.
Super.
Some scientists in the West are still debating if you need to stretch at all, but I would say stretch a little bit at least.
Okay. Super, Abhishek. So we've got a few more questions, but I know we had a format. We have to stick to time. We've already gone over 10 minutes. So what we can do, guys, I know that you have questions. Krishna, Narayan, Shrishti, Piramal, Raj. There are about 4 or 5 questions we've not been able to take, or those in the chats. If we've not been able to answer, we've tried our best. Abhishek has tried his best to get to all of them. We have a community, a group on Facebook. You all can use that to ask any questions that you all have. That will help. If you have any questions, we can answer it. Share your experiences. It's on our Facebook page called ES Fitness Community. I've put the link on the chat. just go join the community. Abhishek will be kind enough to answer any questions you'll have. And Abhishek would love it to stay connected with us. So he's got his Instagram profile that he's mentioned, his YouTube channel, Triathlon Made Easy. So you can reach out to us through these mediums and the fitness community on Facebook, like I mentioned, and we'll be able to get to all your questions. So do keep asking these questions that you've had, or share your experiences through this community. And of course, we are always there on Instagram, so you can tag us with whatever you like to. Super, man. Abhishek, I'd really like to thank you for this. It's really been a nice, really nice session.
The pleasure is mine. It's been a nice experience here.
It's so much information.
I would love to
honestly,
answer your queries.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
And sorry, I would love to answer each of your queries. You can just send me a message on Instagram. Or you can, and definitely make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's called Triathlon Made Easy, where I simplify the beautiful sport of swimming, cycling, and running so that more and more people can now take up the sport. If you're not on Instagram, on the fitness community, I think I should be on the fitness community. And if some of you have my number, you can give me a call. The phone, I don't want to share my number because then the phone keeps ringing and it's a mess. But if you message me on Instagram, I will definitely respond. The same goes with the fitness community, the new community which Karan is starting. Make sure you follow that community as well. And I would be there to answer your queries.
Thank you, Abhishek. That's the whole idea, right? To get people like Abhishek to answer the questions. And if you are, I saw some chats where you all have won some awards for cycling in certain sections of women's categories. Come onto the community, answer the, help, with your knowledge. What Abhishek has done today is try to compress it within 1 hour. It's very tough to compress all his knowledge within 1 hour. He's tried to do that. So do the same, use the platform that you're trying to provide and ask questions or give back to the community by answering people's questions. And of course, you can share your inspiration, your morning cycle rides of kilometers that you'll have done and so forth. And of course, we've got a lot of sessions. You'll know what we do. It's on our website. All of them are free. All of them are in different fields like art and gardening. So we've got one tomorrow on de-stressing with art. That's at 5 p.m. All our sessions this month are at 5 p.m. So do join. You know where to register for these. We've got a session on campfire stories by Peter Van Geit. He's an inspirational mountaineer as well. Abhishek knows him.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, he got me connected to Peter, and I've been following Peter for a while. So we've got a lot of different stuff coming up. See what interests you, and I hope you all further your passions like how Abhishek is doing in his. Thanks again, Abhishek. Thank you all for joining. And I hope to be in touch with you all.
Thanks a lot for removing 1 hour of your time on a Saturday. And it was great to connect with you all.
Super. Thanks again.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.